the highest number of shares of the Platinum Elite poll from Latin America. And a lot of people don't know her. This is her first Team Elite trip. So Dani, tell us about yourself, first of all. And something that I've observed from your team, everyone is recruiting all the time. That's like just part of how you do the business. So talk to us about yourself, talk to us about your team, and how you're achieving all of that.
Great, perfect, excellent. First of all, I would like to say that I'm very grateful and happy to be here. This is actually my second time on stage speaking English. So I love that this business continues challenging you, you know? Why not? Okay, so first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Daniela Flores. I'm 36 years old. I live in Mexico City. I got married last year to Josefo, my husband. I'm a fashion and textile designer by career. I worked a little bit over 10 years in the corporate world as a fashion buyer for one of the biggest retail companies in Mexico called Liverpool. And I've been growing and building this business for 4 years now. The opportunity came to me through social media. One day, Emilia Leighton, one day a complete stranger messaged me on Instagram saying, Dani, I really love your profile. I think you would be amazing working with us. Are you interested? And at that time, my Spanish, I was very happy with my life and with my job, but there was like, you know, this inner voice saying, I want more. Like I felt I had more potential, but I just didn't know what to do with it, you know? So I opened myself up to what this stranger from Instagram had to say. And when Emilia actually presented me with a business presentation, and I saw $40,000 in commissions on the compensation plan, I looked at her and I told her, Emilia, I want that. What do I have to do? And how do how do I get there, you know? I always share that it wasn't about the amount. It was about the quality of life I saw I could build through this vehicle. I connected with 2 words. The first is possibility, and the second one is balance. Possibility because I actually fell in love with the possibility of, you know, designing my own days. At that time, I was still working 9 to 5 in an office, and I remember like imagining, like what would an ideal Monday would look for me? And that would be like, I would wake up slow, early but slow. I would drink my cappuccino. I would do my Pilates, you know? I would, yes, I would jump into meetings I actually enjoyed. I would go to my in-laws' house to have lunch on a random Tuesday. I would scroll allsarah.com and buy everything I want, amigos. I love Sarah. But I don't know, like I fell in love with the vision, you know? And the second one is balance. When I was little, my dad went through a tough financial situation. So it was my mom who carried us forward. My sister, Carolina Kaki, and my brother, my younger brother, and myself. So I remember, you know, like looking at my mom, she worked so hard. And even as a young child, I don't know, 8, 10 years, I would ask myself, how will I do it? Like, how will I be able to be a present mom when I have kids? That's one of my dreams. And, you know, be also financially independent. I couldn't wrap my head around that equation. So when Emilia came to me with this gift, I just knew it in my heart. Like, this is it. So I think you could say I started with a lot of inspiration from the vision of life I saw I could create through this vehicle. And that has been key for me. Like, my vision has been what's pulled me up and pushed me forward every single day. I think that we talk a lot about motivation, you know? You have to be motivated to grow your business, to build your business, but I don't think that's true. Motivation is super overrated because at the end of the day, motivation is just another emotion. You're happy, you're sad, you're anxious, you're motivated. If you wait until you are motivated to grow your business, I think you're gonna be waiting a long time. So that's why I always share that your vision and whatever it is that truly and deeply inspires you, that is your real starting point. Your vision is your engine. Often people ask me, like, Dani, how did you start? And I always tell them, well, I started by starting. I mean, I started before I felt ready. I started with fear. I started with insecurity, with discomfort. I remember thinking, what are people gonna think about me now that I'm washing my face on Instagram? That's weird, you know? But I've realized that you will never feel ready to begin something that makes you uncomfortable. Never. So I started with what I knew, with what I had, but most importantly, with who I was. So often we want to feel ready before taking action, but I've realized, and the truth is the other way around. You first take action, then you learn, then you grow, and then you evolve. So since the beginning of this journey, I've considered myself to be a very good student. I've always did what my uplines told me to do. Catalina, Tano, Has, Poppy, everyone. I moved quickly. And because of that, I started seeing results. And that's huge because results start to build confidence. Confidence in the product, in the company, in the compensation plan, but most importantly, confidence in yourself. Let's be honest, my friends, you need that confidence to keep going, you know? So that's how I hit brand rep, and that's how I started inviting. Let me tell you something. I didn't understand anything, the business compensation plan, anything, but I knew what I had seen. Like, I had a clear vision, so I started inviting from that place. So often we get stuck around inviting. But as Nathan Ricks used to say, if you're not inviting, it's because you're actually thinking about yourself. You know, the fear of no, the fear of rejection, the fear. Because the truth is, if you would think about the other person, like, I promise you there wouldn't be enough time in one day for you to invite everyone. And that's what happened to me. Because I think that in inviting, it's not about what you say. It's about the energy and the intention behind your words. And for me, since the beginning, I've always tried to be as genuine as I can be of what I saw here. So I honestly couldn't believe a business like this existed. I was like, what? And is this real life? So I started contacting everyone. And when I say everyone, it's amigos, everyone. So that's how the ranks started flowing, you know, gold, lapis, ruby, emerald. And when I hit emerald, well, that was a very huge breaking point in my life because I was doing Nu Skin on the side while still working at corporate. So yes, hectic. My heart was already with Nu Skin. But I remember that was a time of a lot of discomfort and fear because I wanted to quit my job, but I was so afraid of leaving something safe. But it was also a time of a lot of bravery because I took this step I needed so my business would grow. So I have to see my notes because I'm forgetting what's next. I'm sorry. Amigos, this is the second time for me.
You cannot tell.
So good.
You cannot tell this is your second time presenting it. Wow. You're absolutely amazing.
We love you.
I love you too, familia. Okay.
Talking, amiga.
I love it. Okay. Perfect. There we go again. So, yes. I was saying that when I hit Emerald, it was a very hectic time. I wanted to quit my job, but I was scared. But it was the step I needed to in order for my business to grow. And that has been one of the biggest lessons this business has given me because so often we wait for something external to give us internal permission to act. I remember thinking, I'll quit when I earn more money at Nu Skin than at my job. I'll quit when I hit Team Elite. No, I'll quit when. And what I've learned is that the results always come as a consequence of what you do, yes, but most importantly, of who you become.
Yes.
I love believing that when you take a step of bravery towards your dreams, the universe has no other option than to give 1,000 steps towards you. And that's what happened. When I quit my job, my business started to do this. I stepped into full alignment. What I want, what I do, what I say, what I think. I began being the person who already had the result. I remember thinking like how does Dani Timelit show up for her life? You know, like what are her habits? What does her agenda look like? Does Dani Timelit has 2 jobs? Obviously not. You know, like who is that girl? And it's very powerful because when I started being the person that had the result came as a consequence of that. Another game changer for me was taking full responsibility for my business. It's so easy to blame others for why you are not growing. But look at this. When you point out at someone, you have 1 finger pointing out, but 3 fingers pointing back at you. You know? So I realized that this business starts and ends with me. I realized that it's my responsibility to continue. I started letting go what wasn't in my control, and I started focusing on what was. You don't control if someone connects with the opportunity or doesn't. You don't control if someone starts a business or doesn't. You don't control if someone grows or doesn't. You do control how many doors you knock on. You do control how many seeds you plant. And you do control how consistent you are. Consistency, that's my favorite word. So, if you want your team to grow, you grow. If you want your team to enroll, you enroll. If you want your team to win the trips, you go out and win them first. This business starts and ends with and within you. So if you want unicorns to show up in your business, you have to, guess what? You have to become the unicorn first. Exactly. Yes, yes. So, yeah, it has been quite a journey. You know, wow, I love this business. It makes me do crazy things, get out of my comfort zone extremely. But I think that the most important thing for me in this whole, process of building my business has been enjoying the process. The little steps, the day to day, my cappuccino, mis pilates, that. I love this quote that says, the person who falls in love with walking will always get further than the person who is only in love with the goal. And I'll say it again. The person who falls in love with walking will always get further than the person who is only in love with the goal. So if you're able and capable of acknowledging everything this business gives you from day one, if you're able to fall in love with that, you will never want to stop walking. And if you never stop walking, learning, and growing, the results will always come as a consequence of that. Thank you so much.